Hi friends, this article is taken from the Hindu newspaper dated 10th of July from foreign section. So let's begin. A perception shift in relations between Sri Lanka and China. Beijing is coming under increasing public scrutiny in the island nation. From the time the COVID 19 pandemic struck last year, China has topped the charts in providing crucial and timely support for Sri Lanka by way of over $2 billion in loans and currency swap and Sinopharm vaccine totaling over $1 million in donation and about 6 million for procurement so far. However, despite the past and pandemic time assistance, China is under more public scrutiny in the Iceland nation than ever before. There is significant This is significant because in Sri Lanka's Sinhala nationalist political landscape, resistance to the imperialist West and interventionist India is a popular political position, dominating rhetoric in the country's Sinhala majority South since its independence in 1948 through its civil war years and the decade after. But the growing skepticism of China in public discourse and the media, including cartoons alluding to the dragon or Chinese flags, is relatively new. Port City Bill. The sentiment came to the fore in May this year when the Sri Lankan government passed a controversial bill governing the China backed Colombo port city. And during recent controversies over signboards in public places and government offices that included Mandarin while excluding Tamil, a national language in Sri Lanka. In resistance to the Port City Bill, Sri Lanka's influential Buddhist monks said that they would never allow a Chinese colony in their country. What has changed is in how Sri Lankans perceive their country's relationship with the Asian giant. Kumarasena Kodithuwakku, Sri Lanka's former ambassador to China during the previous government, blames the Rajapaksa administration when the country takes pride in its non-aligned foreign policy legacy. To see Sri Lanka calling the port city a Chinese colony brings a very negative connotation to the project. Mr. Mr. Kodithuwakku said, the port city is a good investment for Sri Lanka. The former government too wanted the project to develop the country into a regional financial hub. The current administration should have handled it in a mature way and built a national consensus on it. They failed to do that, he told the Hindu. They should have passed laws after discussions with all domestic stakeholders. If you look at Sri Lanka's history, all important international accords and agreements were inked only after ensuring bipartisan consensus, he added. A special partnership. Former Foreign Secretary Prasad Kariyaswamy said given its geographic location, Sri Lanka has maintained friendly relations with maritime nations including China since ancient times. Such relations have always had a sense of strategic content. Post independence, Sri Lanka has been circumspect to avoid a zero sum approach in relations with foreign partner nations, thus striving to maintain equally close relations with all countries in both word and deed, he pointed out. But the traditional friendship between Sri Lanka and China has now become more nuanced, he noted, with unique, unprecedented characteristics in the bilateral relationship, displaying a special partnership, especially at the level of two governments. pointing to a possible perception shift from China being seen as a partner and collaborator to a competitor. Now, the Kariya Swami said the fact that the 21st century export oriented China is not only a developmental assistance partner but a competitor with trade, industrial, and human resource interests of Sri Lanka and its several other foreign partners appears to be making the relationship increasingly challenging, especially in the minds of the public, raising their concerns with respect to the fundamental framework of the democratic nature of the Sri Lankan state as well. The new dynamic could also have political costs domestically. According to Tamil Progressive Alliance leader and opposition MP Mano Ganeshan, Sinhalese people, he said, are feeling let down after supporting the Rajapaksa based on their promise that they will not sell national asset to other countries. The term selling could be tricky, but for all practical purposes, we have a Chinese state-run company that with substantial control in the port city for a long time to come, and the government enacted a bill endorsing that, he said. Further, reading Chinese engagement in relation to Sri Lanka's plural context, Mr. Ganesan noted that China appears ignorant and the ethnic and religious diversity in the Iceland nation diverse country. If they, Chinese, wish to win the Tamil confidence, they have to acknowledge that we are a diverse country with different ethnic and religious groups, not an entirely Sinhala Buddhist country, Mr. Ganesan said, reiterating his remarks in his statement following the TPA's recent meeting with Indian High Commissioner in Colombo. Chinese presence in Sri Lanka is not just India's national security concern. Tamils view China with suspicion because we wonder if they accept us as Sri Lankans. The statement issued on Tuesday said, all the same, Tamils also greatly appreciate India's geopolitical concerns. We are in South Asia, and in that sense, India is immediate family and China is a distant relative. So, when I think of the Chinese having controlling stakes in the southern part of our Iceland, I am reminded of the Cuban Missile Crisis and its consequences, Mr. Ganesan told The Hindu. Voicing a similar sentiment in Parliament this week, Jaffna district legislator of the Tamil National Alliance, S. Sritharan, excuse me, as Sritharan spoke of alleged attempts by Chinese and Pakistan to work on projects in the island of Jaffna Peninsula. Do not instigate India in this manner, he told the government. No matter how many problems we face, Tamils will always stand with India and whom we have an organic link, he said.